What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Whales and Locks. And in today's video, we are finally here, folks. It is finally time for the conference tournaments. We're going to start it out. We're going to start with the ACC tournament here and look at my predictions. I'm going to go ahead and do 6 conferences here. I'm going to do 5 after the ACC in the Big 10, Big 12, SEC, Pac-12, and Big East. So let's get right down to it with this first tournament game here. We're looking at Pittsburgh and Miami here. Pittsburgh, to be honest, they just have the better player here. Justin Champagnie had a really nice season, and Miami's looked like they've been trying to phone it in for a while now. They've been so injured up and down their team. I'm going to go ahead and take Pittsburgh here. Kind of in a rout, I think. I don't think that game will be all that close. We've got Duke and BC. I already have it filled in. I'm going to go ahead and take Duke. Duke, again, similar to Pittsburgh in this game. They're just the better team. Boston College fired their head coach, Jim Christian, in the middle of the season. They've just been a train wreck all season. We'll go ahead and take Duke. Then the final game on Tuesday, Notre Dame and Wake Forest. Notre Dame's coming off a great win against Florida State at home. Wake Forest doesn't really have much to show for it. Notre Dame's offense is pretty nice on the season. I think they do a good job here. I think they score some points. They maybe get it up in the 80s. I'll take Notre Dame. All right, so now we have the second round matchup, Syracuse and NC State. This will be a really interesting game. NC State right now is coming off a 5-game win streak ending the season. Syracuse is coming into this game playing decently well, pretty much a next 4 out type of team, so they desperately need this game, and then probably a win against Virginia as well. However, I do think NC State stays hot here. I think NC State wins this game. Syracuse is very reliant on Buddy Boeheim, and I think NC State does a good job here of slowing him down, so I'll take NC State in the minor upset. Now we've got Clemson and Pittsburgh. The story ends here for Pittsburgh. Clemson's a really nice team. They're kind of stuck. They're pretty much in the field already. So Clemson at this point, they're just the better team. We'll take Clemson here. All right, we've got Clemson. We've got number 7 Louisville and number 10 Duke. A great game here. 2 teams that are very historically dominant. I think at this point, Louisville's older leading point guard here in Carlik Jones is the reason they're able to beat Duke here. Duke ultimately just has too many young guards that just aren't all that experienced. So I'll take the potential ACC Player of the Year here in Carlik Jones and Louisville. That game should be very interesting. Now we've got North Carolina, Notre Dame. Man, this is very similar to when Florida State played Notre Dame. However, Florida State actually lost that game, so it's not so easy to just assume North Carolina here. But I do think North Carolina is ultimately going to win this game. I don't think Notre Dame goes ahead and takes down 2 giants in North Carolina and Florida State. So I'll take North Carolina here. I think they're just too big inside. So we'll ride with the Tar Heels here. Okay, so now we've got the quarterfinals. We finally have the big boys back in this game. We've got Virginia and NC State. It's a revenge game for Virginia here after losing a few games back to NC State in just an awful effort. Lost that game by 7 at home. So because it's a revenge game here, I think Virginia ultimately rights the ship. So Virginia should take this one pretty easily. I'll take Virginia. Probably a low-scoring game if any of you are considering the over-under here. Now we've got number 4 Georgia Tech, number 5 Clemson, one of the strangest-looking 4-5s you'll ever see in an ACC basketball tournament. Again, another hot team here in Georgia Tech. Coming into the tournament, they have won 6 straight. This Georgia Tech's team is feisty. I think they're probably in the tournament at this point, but they really could use this win, and I think they go ahead and pick it up. I think they're the better team than Clemson here. When they played Clemson on their home court, they won that game by 18 points. They did lose at Clemson by 2, but I do think Georgia Tech here is just the much better team. We'll ride with the Yellow Jackets. Now we've got number 2 Florida State and number 7 Louisville. I've very much debated taking Louisville here in the upset, but after thinking about it some more, the reason I thought about it was a lot of times when teams have to wait this long and play on the 3rd day, sometimes teams build confidence. Louisville, I could easily see building some confidence here, beating Duke. However, Florida State, they're just too much here. I think Florida State is just too big of a team. Louisville's very undersized at a lot of positions, so I'll go ahead and take Florida State here. All right, now we've got Virginia Tech and North Carolina. This is probably the one game that I could see a lot of people being popular here in terms of picking the upset. I'm going to go ahead here and join the bandwagon for North Carolina here. I think they continue on. As I said before, Virginia Tech going to have to wait a while to play, and they actually had 2 games canceled at the end of their season, so they haven't played in a really long time. I just think North Carolina is the more talented team, and they'll have played a game beforehand and are much more in sync and connected at this point. So I'll go ahead and take North Carolina here in the small upset. Wouldn't even really call this an upset necessarily. Virginia Tech, I'm not the biggest fan of. So right now we've got the Final Four of the ACC, the Friday night games, Virginia, Georgia Tech, really a strange one there. And then Florida State, North Carolina, more of the blue bloods, or as Leonard Hamilton likes to say, the new blood in Florida State. Virginia, Georgia Tech, I mean, if Virginia gets this draw, this is just looking like one of the easiest ACC draws you could possibly get going into an ACC championship. It's pretty amazing what they're able to do here, getting NC State followed by Georgia Tech. I don't see any reason why Virginia would lose this game. They're just so much better here. They're on a mission here to get to the championship. I'll take Virginia. This will be a great game. Florida State, North Carolina. We're looking at two teams who are just probably the two biggest teams in the ACC and possibly the two biggest teams in all of college basketball. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, Florida State can shoot threes. And North Carolina really cannot outside of Kerwin Walton. I know North Carolina went off against Duke twice now. I just can't see it happening here against Florida State. I think Florida State is the far superior team in terms of skill. So I'll go ahead and take Florida State here, as I think their big guys on North Carolina get kind of shut down slightly by some of these athletic, bigger wings on Florida State. I do think Florida State probably takes them out of the game a little bit here. So here we go, the ACC championship, Virginia, Florida State. Kind of everyone expected it at this point. I don't see how it really doesn't come down to these two teams. I think they're the clear two best teams in the ACC. North Carolina's starting to make a run at it for the third best team. But regardless, Virginia, Florida State. Florida State won the first matchup by 21 points. And if you watched that game, it was pretty clear Florida State is just so much better than this Virginia team. Keyhead Clark, their point guard for Virginia, really struggled. And I think that's exactly what happens here. I'm going to go ahead and take Florida State to ultimately win the ACC tournament. I just think they're so much better, so much bigger, longer, just better in so many ways. So Florida State, I believe, will be the ACC champion. And they could ultimately steal a 2 seed here in the NCAA tournament if they win this bracket. I think they probably would. With wins against Louisville, North Carolina, and then Virginia. Those are quality wins. So if you did enjoy this content and would like to see more of these types of videos in the future, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.